Few days back in Dhaka University, a Muslim student organization, they held a press conference where they demanded ISKCON should be banned because they are rattled that ISKCON has united the Hindus of Bangladesh. So we request Honorable Prime Minister of India to intervene. The situation is getting worse every day.
Radha Ramana Das ji is with us, Vice President and spokesperson of ISKCON Kolkata. Radha Ramana Das ji, namaste. There was a very painful video message that you had issued. Who were you in contact with and what exactly transpired? What have you been told?
Devotees are calling me, they are in touch with me, and I am myself is so confused that whom to take their voice. I don't know myself we are seeing for last 90 days. These people, devotees, are suffering. And also they are very fearful also. Some new channels, they contacted me and they wanted to interview devotees there. So I asked them and they are fearful now. They say, Prabhu, we can't, it will be not good for us to appear on new channels because whoever has appeared in past, the Islamists, they are targeting them. They are attacking them. Police is raiding their address. So there is an effort to silence those vocal voices in Bangladesh who are speaking, who are presenting the true picture to the world. And the Islamists of Bangladesh, they are rattled that ISKCON is doing taking the voices of the whole world, and they want to silence ISKCON. That's why we are seeing that so many cases against the different monks they are filing.
But Radha Ramanji, what is the genesis of all of this? Because isn't there a case of sedition in Chittagong, in this Chattogram area itself, and isn't an ISKCON member also named in that sedition case? What is the genesis of all of this?
Right now I was getting call from Bangladesh only, that phone was taken. So actually they are calling every moment. So sorry that I couldn't hear your
I'm
question.
just going to repeat, Radha Raman Jasji, I'm asking you, what's the genesis of this issue? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, in the same Chattogram area only, isn't an ISKCON member also named in a sedition case? What happened there? The allegation is that there was disrespect to the Bangladeshi flag.
That is complete lie. The head of the ISKCON in Bangladesh, he clarified that that flag was not Bangladeshi flag. It was some other flag, not the national flag of Bangladesh, but some other flag. And there was no disrespect at all. We also saw that, in fact, many Muslims, they are offering namaz on Bangladeshi flag. Muslims themselves, they are doing that. And here someone used that, they're claiming that this is a Bangladeshi flag, but it was clearly visible in that video that it was not a Bangladeshi flag. Second, there is no ISKCON flag at all. So there is no question of putting ISKCON flag. We don't have any flag. So this is all, there is a desperate attempt to put all false charges against ISKCON and somehow ban ISKCON there. Because they know ISKCON is standing like a rock between remaining Hindus of Bangladesh. ISKCON has a global presence, and they know that in 2021 when there was attack, then ISKCON protested all over the world. In all our 800 temples, we took this matter. We protested right here in Calcutta. Actually, when that Dasahara thing happened, and devotees called me in 2021. I was coming from Mayapur, and then I called the residence of the Prime Minister, and then next day we took all our brahmacharis and gherawed Bangladeshi embassy, and then after 3-4 days we did protest all over the world, gherawed embassies, their embassies all over the world, and for the first time United Nations then sent a team to Bangladesh after 2 days. You must be knowing that in 1971 more than 3 million Hindus were killed, raped, and the United Nations has never taken cognizance of those atrocities against Hindus. But in 2021, after Hindus protesters all over the world, they United Nations took cognizance and they issued statements and a team. So Bangladeshi Islamists, they are very afraid that ISKCON is highlighting these atrocities, which was, they were silently, they were finishing off Hindus. That's why from 30% to 7% now, they finished off Hindus, and they wanted to finish remaining Hindus without any hue and cry. And unfortunately, ISKCON, they think that unfortunately ISKCON is not allowing their plan to succeed.
But Radha Ramanji, what happened in Chattogram yesterday? What prompted this kind of action? Was there a Facebook post which was derogatory? There are now student outfits. You have yourself claimed that they are calling for ISKCON to be named a terrorist organization. Why?
Yeah, yesterday what happened, one Muslim person, he made a derogatory post regarding ISKCON, and then he claimed that ISKCON should be banned, it's a terrorist organization, things like that. ISKCON has a huge following in Bangladesh. ISKCON has a huge following in Bangladesh, and devotees, they were rattled that why a person is this is going on for last 1 week, that people are posting misinformation against ISKCON. So Hindus, they were protesting that this person should be arrested. So instead of arresting, police came, they took that person away, but they acted like they are providing security to that person. He was never arrested. He was taken to a safe house, and then again this army comes and they start going to different Hindu houses. They attacked Hindu houses. We saw that how they are breaking CCTV footage. They broke the hard disk of CCTV, so that whatever is saved.
Who did that? The mob did it, or did the security personnel do it?
The army, the secret police, army, they are doing. Actually, some footages we got. We shared it on different in my handle also. You can see army personnel. They are breaking with patterns. They are breaking the CCTV cameras. And then we saw that there were Sikh people, diabetic people. They entered their houses. They took their things away, valuable things away. They beat them. Then there are this afternoon when I was speaking. So there are 2 confirmed deaths. Two youths were shot dead by Bangladeshi army, and more than 300 dead people has been taken away. They are arrested, or where they have been taken, there is no clue.
This is from yesterday, or overall you are saying in Chattogram?
So no, only yesterday. Only yesterday. Only yesterday, 300 people from that area, Hindus, youths, has been arrested. And the person I spoke in Bangladesh, he says that their families are very, very concerned. Because they don't know where they are.
Has there any statement been issued today? Have the cops done anything?
No, actually there is no communication. This army people, they take Hindu community. They're treating Hindu community as 8th class citizen. And actually, again I will speak. I will take the update.
Radha Ramanji, I'm going to request. I know we are live on the broadcast. We've got Ratan Sharda ji also. I'm going to request to you to check if whoever you are speaking with in Bangladesh will speak with us here via phone on conditions of anonymity. If you can put them on loudspeaker, and if they can narrate in English or in Hindi, even Bangla is okay. Actually, what is happening in Chattogram, it will help us.
Okay, I'll right away connect.
Okay, and you can put it on loudspeaker so we can try and catch it from your own mic. Ratan Sharda ji is with us. Ratan Sharda ji, even as Radha Ramanji is trying to coordinate contact, even while you are speaking to him, 2-3 calls have come to him from Bangladesh. People are calling him and saying what's going on. But these pictures are shocking. He's saying 300 people, locals, have been carted away. There are pictures of them being badly beaten up. 2 people have been shot dead. And they are trying to brand ISKCON as a terrorist organization, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness.
Anand, first of all, I must congratulate the local ISKCON people and the Hindus of Bangladesh who have decided to fight back rather than be cowed down and butchered and raped like it was done in 1971 and continuously after that for years together, especially after General Ishaq came in. There was only some relief when Begum Hasina was there. But these people, the shameless people, the way they are killing and destroying the Hindus, for people you can't even protest peacefully. Can't you demand rights for the people? Where is the world community except Trump? Nobody's spoken. Even our government has spoken, but I think there needs to be much more stronger action. I am reminded of 71 persecution at that there is no social media, and this is where it is leading. And this is the kind of Islamic state we are talking about. I'm sorry, they are not fit to be global citizens. That's all I can say. Why so-called freedom is religious freedom societies, why so-called human rights societies keep quiet when Hindus are killed and they're persecuted? I do not understand. Population of Hindus have dropped down for years together in Bangladesh and Pakistan, and today we are making
No, is
excuses,
a
and
security
then nobody
complicit, Ratan
speaks.
Shardaji. See, look at this footage that we've got right now.
Yeah,
There is a
definitely.
cop looking up at the
And
CCTV
that,
footage. There he is, looking up at the CCTV footage,
yeah,
and then he takes a
so-called
stick and he breaks
president,
down that CCTV. He's breaking
the,
down the
yeah,
camera so that the footage is not there. We'll see. There you go. They
yeah.
hit the
See the
camera
puppet
to.
president
It's
that you
security
have.
personnel who are doing it.
Puppet president who is supposed to be the global citizen has no shame at all in covering up these episodes and not speaking about them. And is he really in control, or is he actually an Islamist moving around the garb of a secular liberal person? I'm shocked that such people exist even today, where the Bangladeshis have been very good citizens, Hindus have been very good citizens of Bangladesh. I think very severe international outcry has to be done, including India, and also now that Trump has come in, who has promised protection of Bangladeshis. I think this is the reason military is getting frustrated. They are disturbed that now US will bring pressure on them. So before that, they must carry out the Islamic duty.
Right.
That's all I can think of.
True. I'm just going to check with Radharamanji. I just want to understand, did the protesting Hindus, Radharamanji, did they resort to violence? Why did the cops have to use brute force? I have to ask you this because there should be clarity whether the protesting Hindus in Bangladesh, along with the ISKCON members, did they resort to any violence?
Anandji, actually, the one devotee, one person is there.
Yeah, please.
So he's so afraid. He's telling that please don't put me on loudspeaker because my voice they will recognize and I might also get arrested. So he's telling that he will narrate and I will.
Yeah, please translate. It's okay. Go ahead. Please ask him, was there any violence?
आप बताइए अभी लेटेस्ट अपडेट क्या है? आप बताइए, मैं आपका बात को ट्रांसलेट कर रहा हूँ. हाँ. Okay. So police is actually they're doing briefing and they are threatening ISKCON like okay, ISKCON has done this and ISKCON has resorted to violence. That's why they have taken this action. आगे बोलो. Now Hindus are very afraid that till now only Islamists were attacking them, but now seeing the army's action yesterday, Hindus are very afraid that now army has united with the Islamists and both of them together they are acting against Hindus of.
But Radharamanji, I must ask you, did the Hindu groups who were protesting against this Muslim trader, did they resort to violence?
No, actually they didn't resort to. They were just protesting that this person should be arrested, and then police came and they took them away, and again they came, and when they started attacking, then there might be some Hindus protested that why you are attacking things like that. They started demanding that.
Because we see footage of some shop or some hoarding or some place being destroyed, broken down by a mob. So what was that? Is that the ISKCON premises, some other, or is it the Muslim trader's shop? What is being broken down? What's being attacked?
No, actually, devotees are telling that some Muslim themselves to put blame on Hindus. They came and they acted as their Hindu mob, and they did themselves. But Hindus were protesting very silently, and their only demand was that person who has put a Facebook post should be arrested. But instead of arresting them, the army, they started attacking Hindus' home. And then when Hindus, they tried to protest, retaliate, they shot, they fired. And two of Hindus, they died.
Is that person still on the phone? Can you ask? There is footage of cops breaking down CCTV cameras.
আচ্ছা, yeah.
তো
বলছে কি পুলিশ অনেক সিসিটিভি যে ভাঙছে লাঠি দিয়ে, তো ওর বিষয়ে আপনি কি বলবেন? He is telling that's why police broke CCTV footage, CCTV and took away footage because they didn't want truth to be known by the world. Because this whole thing was to make a case against Hindus, that Hindus did violence, that's why police acted. But their intention is to make false cases against Hindus and then to implicate them into false cases and dismantle the resistance which they are facing.
Now, you said 2 people have been shot dead and about 300 Hindus, local people are missing. Any update on them? Have the cops revealed any details?
আচ্ছা, যারা দুইজন মারা গেছে ওদের নাম কি আছে, আর 300 জন যারা অ্যারেস্ট আপনি বলছিলেন হয়েছে, ওদের কি খবর? ওরা কি পুলিশ কিছু বলেছে কি ওরা কোথায় আছে, কোথায় কি হচ্ছে? আর দুজন কারা মারা গেছিল? আচ্ছা, so actually he is telling that police is telling that they have arrested only 80 people. Other people who are injured, they have been taken to hospital. Like they are telling. Yeah.
Okay, so is there anybody dead? You said 2 people are dead. Are there any details about anybody dead?
Yeah, hello. যারা মারা গেছে ওদের কি খবর? মানে কি নাম আছে আপনি জানেন? হ্যাঁ। So he is telling that he doesn't know the identity of those 2 people who have escaped, but he says that we all are very afraid. We are hiding in different places. He is telling that there is a rumor going around that this Friday Muslims will target Hindu places of worship, different temples, and they will attack and they will break many temples. So that is latest plan.
Right. So.
Okay, and the Islamists, they have got, they are now emboldened that army came in their help. So rumors are going that Hindus will be targeted this Friday.
This Friday. Now, Ratan Sharda ji, look at this. On phone, this person is so worried that they will recognize his voice that they don't want to come on record on loudspeaker, and they are saying Friday will be more direct action.
Well, Friday is always their sacred day. They always use Friday for every kind of aggression. I'm not surprised. But I am really pained that the so-called Rakshaks, the police and the army, have become Bhakshaks. They have joined these the goons, and there is no protection for minorities. And we create all false kind of victimhood. And here is a direct victimhood history of Bangladesh, and our seculars, our liberals, our entire society, the global society is quiet. I think very strict action has been taken. This case must go to UN at the earliest, and it must be raised at the highest levels, and every country must condemn it, see to it that this is stopped, and Yunus must be de-recognized as the head of this Bangladesh government, because he's just a puppet and he is just a showpiece of the jihadis there. So he has to leave so people know what is actually condition. He should be ashamed that he calls himself international citizen, and today under his own guard these things are happening. He has denied all these excesses, and if somebody protests, do you go and destroy their homes? That is a question. And is it only happening now? It is happening from the day one when this coup took place and Hindus were made the scapegoats.
No, Radha Ramanji.
Then we have people who are making excuses that this is not about them, this is about Awami League, etc. I think this is purely Hindu hate, Hindu media, nothing else.
Radha Ramanji, you've made a fervent appeal that the government should intervene. Is there going to be an official letter representation by ISKCON India or ISKCON International to the government of India?
Actually, now government is present on social media. Government is seeing what is happening. And not only me, like there are so many Hindus, Bangladeshi Hindus, they are tagging the Honorable Prime Minister of India. And actually the Hindus, they don't have many people whom they can look towards. Donald Trump being the another. Donald Trump just a few days ago, he told that if he's elected, then he will see he will attend he will see the conditions of Bangladeshi Hindu. So we are looking towards
yeah, but there is time for Donald Trump to swear in till the 20th of January 2025. That's when his team takes over, and till then it is still the outgoing Biden administration or
that's what I'm saying. Anand, we must call for immediate session of the UN Security Council, UN Assembly, and also Human Rights Commission immediately, without any delay. Whether Trump comes, when he comes to that issue,
right.
Issues thousands of lakhs of lives are under threat, and we must act very decisively and with an urgency that actually will matter for these people.
Right. Because it's the Bangladesh state and what their position is. The fact is that there is video evidence here on News 18 which shows the cops themselves trying to break down CCTV footage. Cops or security personnel, whoever they are also police and there is army. This is that footage. There you go. Somebody notices a CCTV. There comes the stick and bang. They will try and break it down. There you go. Trying to break down the CCTV footage. We've got that footage also here, ladies and gentlemen. Radha Ramanji, prayers and perhaps some sense prevails that there is no direct attack on people. They are all civilians, they're people, and they're all Bangladeshi citizens. And let's hope the Bangladesh government decides to take the responsibility of protecting their own people, citizens, irrespective of what their religious beliefs are or faith is. Ratan Shardaji,
Who is running the government? That's the question now. Who is running the government?
Well, there are those who put him in place, so they have to also answer this question. Because of their intervention, a lot of things have happened. Sheikh Hasina is on Indian soil. We'll see if she responds and she speaks, but she's also silent these days. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, Canadian Sikhs reject this entire K agenda and closer home ahead of the elections. Big setback or perhaps a headache for the Jharkhand Chief Minister. Stay with us.
This Diva.
Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends in this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day, I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have. This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again. Oh, And in addition to having won the battleground states of North Carolina, I love these places, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, we are now winning in Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, and Alaska, which would result in us carrying at least 315 electoral votes. But it's much easier doing what the networks did or whoever called it, because there was no other path. There was no other path to victory. We also have won the popular vote. That was great.
Canada has become the global hub of K separatism or K extremism, and this was visible after what played out on the streets of Brampton, Surrey, and in Vancouver. The attack on the Hindu temple and devotees yet again highlighting how Canada has turned a blind eye towards these K goons and their extremist agenda. But Hindus and Sikhs in Canada are vowing to fight against the system that lets these K goons run amok. Sikhs have come out in large numbers to reject this entire K propaganda. At regular intervals, Sikhs have come out and rejected the K tactics. Now here's how they are countering this K extremism of late. 250 Sikhs gathered in Surrey vowing to fight against these K extremists. It was a resolution that was taken. The resolution in Surrey was to deter attacks against Hindus and places of worship, and more importantly, to far more actively participate in these Gurdwara elections and wrest the control away from these K goons in the near future. Sikh groups passing a resolution accusing K goons of denigrating the Gurus. Sikh groups taking a stand against this entire culture of threat, intimidation, and violence by these K goons. Sikhs taking a stand against the threat of radicalization of Sikh youth. And many of them resolving very clearly to not just now stand up, speak out, but no longer silently support or look the other way when these K goons get into action. They're saying that they're going to wrest away this control of administration, power, wealth, money, etc., and stand up to this lot. Let's move on. Just weeks ahead of the Jharkhand Assembly polls, the CBI has conducted searches at nearly 16 locations in 3 states in connection with the illegal stone mining scam in Nimbu Pahad. The CBI has booked Pankaj Mishra, an alleged aide of Chief Minister Hemant Soren, along with others. In Jharkhand, the CBI raided 3 places at Ranchi, 1 place in Gumla, and 13 locations in Sahibganj. While in West Bengal, the raids were conducted in 2 places in Kolkata and in Patna. And during the searches, the CBI has seized over 60 lakh in cash, 1 kilogram of gold, 1.2 kilograms of silver, gold ornaments, mobiles, 61 live cartridges, sale deeds to properties, and documents related to investments and shell companies, agreement papers, and other incriminating material. The CBI had registered the case in the illegal mining case on the 23rd of November last year. On the directions of the Jharkhand High Court, the CBI investigation revealed that large-scale illegal mining activities in Sahibganj district allegedly caused substantial losses to the government, primarily through unpaid royalties and violation of mining laws. There's more. These people are allegedly involved in pilferage and illegal extraction of stones at Nimbu Pahad in Sahibganj. For the last 2.5 years, stone mafias were mining illegally in connivance with government officials. Mining officials of Sahibganj district are allegedly involved. The petitioner in the case further alleged that they were using earth-moving machines and carrying out blasts which resulted in cracks in the houses of the villagers. So ahead of the Jharkhand elections, more headache for Hemant Soren. Time for a very, very short break. When we come back, it's Donald Trump back in the White House as the 47th President of the United States. He is the President-elect. What does it mean for Bharat? We discuss when we come back. Stay with us.
This Diwali.
Well, I want to thank you all very much. This is great. These are our friends. We have thousands of friends in this incredible movement. This was a movement like nobody's ever seen before. And frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now clear that we've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy? But it's a political victory that our country has never seen before, nothing like this. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day, I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have. This is a magnificent victory for the American people that will allow us to make America great again. And in addition to having won the battleground states of North Carolina, I love these places, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, we are now winning in Michigan, Arizona, Nevada, and Alaska, which would result in us carrying at least 315 electoral votes. But it's much easier doing what the networks did or whoever called it, because there was no other path. There was no other path to victory. We also have won the popular vote. That was great.
Donald Trump returns to the White House with a remarkable comeback. Republicans not just swept the Sun Belt, but also the battleground states. But what does Trump's return mean for India? Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated Donald Trump on his historic win and said he looks forward to collaborating with the soon-to-be US president. Even the Indian markets responded positively, but what will be the long-term impact? Let's try and understand this and put it into perspective before we go across to our guest now. The return of Donald Trump, the pros for Bharat. There's a rapport with Prime Minister Narendra Modi and perhaps possible regional reconfiguration to address Bangladesh and Pakistan will come into play. Then it may help Bharat address Khalistan extremism and also the Nikhil Gupta case, temper the moral posturing on initiatives like CA and minority rights. There will also be the China decoupling or China plus one opportunity that could help India rise as a manufacturing power, and perhaps we are better placed than we were about 4-5 years ago. Elevation of Quad to counterbalance China. These are, and in defense and military ties, especially increased defense cooperation and tech transfers. And we know the Trump administration helped us during the Galwan standoff. And of course, the counter-terror synergy may address the demand for firmer US stance on Pakistan. And this was there that the entire FATF crackdown and perhaps the economic pressure on Pakistan began over terror activities. As far as oil and energy is concerned, more US production could ease the global oil prices, and that will further help India with our import bills and may impact India's IT, pharma, textile sectors and spark inflation because of the tariff strategy. But if we have an FTA in place, we may be able to overcome that issue. But when it comes to immigration, the restrictive H-1B policies that have impacted Indian IT officials remains an issue. And that was something that was raised under the Trump administration. Also, more capital outflow may impact emerging markets over the re-energizing of the dollar. The downgrade via increased inflation and rates staying higher. Now, this is where the rupee may lose strength. Despite the markets being buoyant, the rupee did lose out this time around. So what are the implications overall? Who is better was a question that we asked before the elections were had the numbers had stabilized. Now it is, what do we do now? What's in it for Bharat in this case? That's the question. Let's go across to our guest this evening on the show. Joining us, Sushant Sareen is with us at this point. We also have Tim Romer, former American ambassador to Bharat, and also Congressman Purnima Nath, geopolitical observer, and former US Congress candidate Cynthia Farhat. And Sushant Sareen is with us, senior fellow ORF. And namaste to everybody. Let me start with Mr. Romer. How would you see the turn of events in the US? And when it comes to the Indo-US equations, what would be Donald Trump's move? What will be his expectations?
Yes, good evening. Nice to be with you and your viewers once again. First of all, to Donald Trump's resounding victory, it appears that it's surprising but not stunning. When you look at the number of elections around the world and the populism that keeps on coming into democracies, we've seen populism growing in the United States from about 2002, 2003 forward. People's dislocation, their anger at government, their concern about good, high-paying jobs in the economy. This is not a stunning victory. It's the first time in American history since Grover Cleveland that we've had a president get non-consecutive terms. He's run 3 times in a row now. And he is spot on his messages on the economy, on immigration, border security, and trying to make sure there's not a World War III. So it's a simple, straightforward message. And the Democrats had a lot of high headwinds. An unpopular Biden presidency, 74% of the American people were not feeling like the country was going in the right direction. And registration of Republicans was up in the last 4 years by about 2.5% to 3%. So again, this is something that Donald Trump pulled off, and congratulations to him. For U.S.-India relations, what does it mean? I think it'll continue to mean deepening in the strategic relationship and the Quad and defense and intel sharing and security and homeland security arrangements. Those will all go forward. There'll be new innovations in those areas to try to have the two countries work together. The challenges will probably be substantial. Donald Trump said that his favorite word in the dictionary is tariff. And there's no question he wants to double tariffs from 10% to 20%. He wants to increase them to up to 50 to 60% on China. Does that automatically mean it's a good thing for India? No. Donald Trump wants to move those supply chains from China and other places back home and homeshore those to America. Some of those might go to Mexico, but that does not mean that India automatically will benefit from economic policies of Trump. H-1B visas. I think Trump is going to make the H-1B visa a little bit more difficult and slower and tougher for India. And I mentioned the supply chain.
Yes.
Those supply chains, which are crucial to India's growth and their GDP and their jobs for young people coming forward. Don't count on Donald Trump to say they're going to go to Vietnam and ASEAN countries and India. They're going to be driven back home to the United States for the most part under his administration.
But how many of those supply chains will
strategically in the relationship and some challenges coming forward?
But Ambassador Romer, the fact is that not all those supply chains can be brought back to America. America does not have the capacity or the bandwidth, and it will need the expertise and it will need a certain level of manufacturing help. Sushant Sareen, can Bharat's position, as Cynthia Farhat, author, also joins us. I'm just going to. Can our position be, should our position be, how can you help us? Or should our position be, how can we help you? Because that's how then the equation works in everybody's favor.
Thank you so much for having me. I think that President Donald Trump's presidency is great news for India. President Trump is a true friend of India, and specifically when it comes to your national security. And this is something that the symbiotic relationship, peace in India, peace in Pakistan, and peace in Afghanistan is in the benefit of not only India and America, but the whole entire world. We have seen what the past administration had done with the Afghan evacuation, which directly led to October 7th. Now, things have I'm sure that a lot of bad actors are not going to sleep well tonight after this news. And when President Trump was in office, terrorists thought a million times before firing a bullet. And that is why he was the president of peace. There was the Abraham Accords between Arab countries and Israel. There was peace in Sinai. There was peace in southern Lebanon. And now all of this chaos is going to gradually start to halt. And that is not only in both countries' national security's best interest, but for literally world peace.
Sushant Sareen.
So, Anand, the way I look at it is, to an extent, Trump is going to be very transactional, and I don't see any problem in it. Yeah, there will be some headwinds coming our way, but I don't think those are of the kind that's going to disrupt the relationship. Incidentally, I think it's important also to remember that India and the US relationship is not a single point relationship. It's not just a security relationship of the kind that the Americans had, for example, with Pakistan, or their involvement in Afghanistan and many other countries. It's a much deeper relationship, right? So in a sense that yes, there will be security cooperation, but I don't see a very great amount of disruption in the kind of economic relationship that we have with the Americans. Look, again, you have to understand, we're talking about a modern economy. Yes, the American administration will try and move back some of the supply chain, some of the manufacturing back to the US. But can all the manufacturing move back to the US? No, it's not possible.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. It's not going to be economical. So there will be the international supply chains which will come into play. Now that is also upon us, how we play our cards, how much reform we bring in, how much facilitation we do for attracting business and supply chains to come and set up shop in India. So that is one part of it. The other part of it is on the visa thing. Look, again, I'm not very worried about it simply because, I think it makes a lot of sense to crack down on illegal immigration. Much of the immigration from India or migration from India to the US is of very technically qualified people. So maybe the H-1B visas go down, but maybe, if you require people with skills in the United States who are going to productively contribute to the US economy, I don't see why Trump is going to be bloody minded about. I think he's the kind of a guy who will look for good options if he's going to get them. He's already announced that. Even in his victory speech, he said that all for people coming into America, but not illegally. So as if you're one of those Khalistani thugs who goes by the illegal route, yeah, you have something to be worried about. But if you're a qualified guy who's going the legal route, or you're going as a student and then you're going to be working in the US, I don't see how that's a problem for India as such. And then of course there is the whole issue of the chemistry both between the leaders and the fact that if you have some of Trump's big supporters who are well disposed towards India coming into government, I think that will augur well for the bilateral relationship. So I'm not very worried about how the relationship is going to proceed. There will be the irritants, there will be a lot of other, pushbacks. But I think at the end of the day, the one thing which I think will do well between India and the US is that if the moralizing, the sermonizing and the kind of hypocrisy that we've seen from the liberals in the United States, if that comes to an end, it clears up a lot of bad blood between India and the US.
Well,
You know,
a lot of times the argument would be that,
talk down to anymore.
Yeah.
You don't need lectures on democracy from anybody.
no, it's the different governments and different administrations have different policies of how to shake hands while trying to push you and shove you to a corner and keep you there. So because different nations approach diplomacy and this differently, and different administrations would do the same. Purnima Naji, where do you stand? Thank you for your patience. Your thoughts. Is this good for the Indo-American grouping? Is it good for Indo-US relationship? What will be Trump's outlook?
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that. President Trump, I don't call him president-elect. He was actually the rightful winner in 2020 as well. So President Trump is good for America as well as for the world. When it comes down to Indo-US relationship, I don't think there is any better person. He is the first politician I have seen in America as well as in India, in American landscape from the both side of the aisle, left and right, to have the guts and the courage to stand for the Hindu population. And he particularly said that he's going to actually protect Hindus globally. And that was a Diwali tweet that he has done a few days ago. And he also specifically said that Kamala Harris as well as Democrat Party left the Hindus, and he's not going to do that. Now, coming back to the point that Mr. Rumor had made about there's going to be tightening of H-1B visa, I disagree with that, because there are two things that has happened. In his first term, he actually was the toughest one on the visas for Indian Americans. At the same time, in the last 4 years, what has happened is Democrats and the Biden-Harris administration had opened borders and brought in 12 to 14 million illegal aliens in this country. And today we are in a situation that we cannot even call them illegal aliens. We are supposed to call them undocumented, so-called. Unfortunately, they have promised them fast-tracked citizenship as well. Just a week ago, I have asked a question to two people, my senator Ron Johnson and one of the congressperson Brian Steele. The question was, what would we do with these illegal aliens that America has brought in right now? How are you going to address them? Senator Ron Johnson responded to that particular question is very clearly. He said that, listen, there is not going to be a mass deportation. If the illegal alien have committed some crimes, we will probably do something drastic for that particular person. Now, if you heard Donald Trump, he basically, blanketly says that there will be mass deportation. There will be not just the criminal ones, but illegally, if you entered into this country, there will be repercussion. This is not what I heard from even Senator Ron Johnson, who's
Right.
from the right-wing Republican Party, my party. So the reason I say that, so there seemed to be some conversation going on and discussion going on within the party also, and try to figure out as to how to address this, because he specifically said that these illegal aliens were welcomed into the country, so we cannot just deport them. We have to do something for these illegal aliens. So keeping that in mind, now Donald Trump is not going to be super strict on
Right.
H-1B. People like us who came to this country as a high-skilled labor, when we come to this country and build product and services for the American company, we are not actually building Indian product. We're building product for America. So I think Donald Trump at this point of time clearly understands that differentiation. So he actually, I think, will bring in more high-skilled laborers, workers and talents from India to America, and that's
Perhaps
pretty
those
clear.
sectors will be limited. There will be a relook and a rethink, and he's coming into office for the second time, so there will be some lessons that he and his team would have already learned. What do you make, Ambassador Rumer, of the construct of the administration, the next administration under Donald Trump? Do you believe that there will be a lot of mixed representation, non-white, if I may say, non-actually of first, second generation Americans, Hispanics, Asians, Indian or Indo-Americans? Do you believe there will be a lot of representation? How will he then be able to take calls when it comes to the hard Christian line, the Christian evangelical line that he will have to take for his core constituency?
Yes. Well, I just want to say, first of all, that the five of us here on this show are going to have differences of opinions,
yes,
respectfully so, on foreign policy and the challenges coming up in a Trump administration and where the opposition will come from. But on the facts, we shouldn't disagree. And the 2020 election was a fair election. Republicans across the country have agreed that Biden won that election. So people saying that the 2020 election was disputed or unfair is just factually not true. Now, to your question about what does a Trump cabinet look like, I think, the big question for him is going to be, how much did he learn in his first term? How quickly does he get moving into the second term with appointments? The Senate looks like it's going to probably be Republican controlled by 53 to 55 or 56 votes. So he's going to be able to confirm almost all of his nominees. That resounding Senate victory in places like Ohio, in Montana, in West Virginia, that was also flipped, that gives the Republicans a lot more maneuvering as to who President Trump can bring into the next administration. Do those people look like a Marco Rubio as Secretary of State, an Elon Musk at Commerce, a Robert Kennedy Jr. at Healthcare? Who are the kind of people that he brings in? And the second big question is, does President Trump have a mandate, a honeymoon, or does he overreach and create problems for his party in 2026, going into the end of his term? So that's going to be a big question. What does he line up, and what are his priorities? If it is things like immigration reform, which Democrats will work with him on, we want fair border security. We want to secure that southern border. We don't want terrorists coming across that border. We want legal immigration to take place so that those hardworking people from India and China that add to growing our economy get into this country legally, but criminals coming across the border from South America or other places don't get into this country. That's something Democrats want to work on in a bipartisan way. Will Trump line up bills like, will he embrace Biden's infrastructure bill and investment in chips and batteries factories in the United States? In the supply chain argument that he's going to make, and in bringing jobs back home, he's going to see some of the Biden accomplishments as ways that he can get credit for creating more jobs in America and redirecting some of those supply chains back home. When does he do tax cuts? He promised no taxes on tips in Nevada. Will he put that forward in the first 2 years? It's going to be very interesting to see his sequencing of the agenda, and if he tries to work in a bipartisan way initially with Democrats on things like some foreign policy and immigration reform.
But Ambassador Rumer, there have been issues of intervention in South Asia, in this region, under the Biden administration. Bangladesh is a case in point. What has happened there? There is a certain level of tension, even of frostiness, even with this entire Khalistan issue how the Canadians have now openly cited, and Justin Trudeau himself said that the intel was provided by the Americans. And there is a soft peddling of this entire issue. Gurpatwant Panun, a wanted man in our country who's pushing a secessionist agenda against India, is a US national, and he's getting a lot of protection with the state agencies present there. So these are all issues of contention. Do you believe that Donald Trump will have a different approach towards resolving these issues? And the entire pressure on Pakistan to ease on terror in the region, especially that's being fomented on Indian soil, all of that, the FATF action started under the Trump administration between 2016 and 2020. It seems to have become a little easy under the Biden administration. So will there be an impact on all of that?
Well, look, I moved to India to be ambassador in New Delhi when right after the Mumbai terrorist attacks took place on India. And it was absolutely India's 9/11 as we experienced those attacks in the United States. We knew that that came from Pakistan. We worked with India and bolstering their security forces, bolstering their police activities and training, bolstering their intel sharing, to try to make sure that that not only never happened again, but we also decided that India was our strategic partner and Pakistan was a problem to be managed. And India needs to be confident about how the US now sees India as its strategic partner, its partner in democratic values and democracy, and its partner on China. Right. And its partner on security issues through the Quad and peace and prosperity. This is a new day between the United States and India. And we see ourselves as growing global partners, whether that be in a new architecture in the Middle East, with India potentially playing a role in the Middle East to help us with peacekeeping or rebuilding Gaza. And we agree with India on a two-state solution in the Middle East. We agree with India that China needs to be constrained and not be attacking countries like India on its border or the Philippines in the South China Sea. So there's a lot of similarities here. There are irritants in the relationship that Trump is going to see and that we need to manage, whether that is, India buying Russian security defense equipment or Russian oil. These things will be managed because the strategic relationship between our two countries and our two peoples are so critically important to world peace.
Two nations, two entities, if they want to work together, they'll find ways to iron out the creases. That's what you're saying, Ambassador Boma.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you very much to all our panelists. I have to wind up the conversation and going straight across to Zaka Jacob, who's joining us live. It's a bright new day. The White House has a different shine. Zaka, were you expecting the results to come so clear? And the other question is, where are the Dems? Where is Kamala Harris? Is she going to concede the election or not? Because they seem to have all gone on silent mode.
Well, I was at the Kamala headquarters, or, the place that she was expected to come and give a speech at Howard University, her alma mater, all through last night till about 1 a.m. And when it was clear that Trump had won Georgia and North Carolina and he was on track to win the blue wall states, it was clear that Trump was winning, and this was a landslide, Anand. I mean, it is a new morning. It's a bright new morning here in Washington, D.C. and across the United States, coast to coast. Trump has made a stunning comeback. There is simply no other way to describe this. He has swept, or is in the process of sweeping, all 7 battleground states. That is not something that anybody, none of the pollsters, none of the pundits, none of the news media had wagered that it would be as big a landslide of a victory for Donald Trump. I know 3 states are yet to be fully declared, Arizona, Nevada, and Michigan, but Trump is leading in all 3 of those states. And if he wins those 3 states, it'll be a bigger victory than Biden in 2020. It'll be a bigger victory than Trump in 2016. So this is massive. When he said yesterday after he voted that this is